Hello everyone, welcome to the Mercury Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I'm going to continue with the same module, that is a website design, and the same tutorial, that is a HTML tutorial that we have discussed. In the last class we have started, or we have finished with the chapter number 36, 37, that is the HTML URL coding. That is how to use the HTML URL encoding and how to use that. That is chapter number 37. In the last class we have discussed this chapter. So let's start with the previous class session, what we have covered in the last class, then move to the today's topic, that is the chapter number 38. That is the language ISO codes. That is what are the various language ISO codes that is used within the HTML. That is language ISO codes. So let's start with the chapter number 37. That is the previous class session. So in the last class we have started with the chapter number 37, that is HTML URL encoding. That means how to use the URL encoding, or what is the URL encoding that is used within the HTML, that is a URL encoding. That means unified modeling language, or we can say the uniform resource locator encoding. That is how to use this. So it is the process of translating unprintable characters or characters with special meanings within the URL to a representation that is unambiguous and universally accepted by the web browsers and the server. So this encoding is accepted by the web browsers and the server, and this is one of the encoding that is used within the HTML. And these characters include, so these are the various characters that we have discussed, that is how they are included in the HTML URL encoding. Are used within the HTML, like the ASCII control characters, non-ASCII control character we have discussed in the last class. So the first one is the ASCII control character, that is what are the various ASCII control character that is used within the HTML. That is a sky control character. There is an unprintable character that typically used for the controlling the output, that is used for the output control, that is a sky control character, and that ranges from the 00 to 1f, that is from the 0 to the 31 decimal, and 7f, that is a 127 decimal. So that ranges from the 0 to the 128. In totality there are total 128 characters. That is a sky control character. The next category is a non-ASCII control characters, and these characters are beyond the ASCII character set of the 128 characters. These are the beyond the ASCII character set, that is they are much more of the 128 characters, and these characters are beyond the ASCII character set of the 128 character. That means they are ranging from the 0 to the 255. So ASCII control character range from the 0 to the 127, and the non-ASCII character ranging from the 0 to the 255. The next category is the reserved characters, and these are the special characters such as the dollar sign, ampersand. So any special symbol that is used, that is known as a reserved character, that is also a part of the URL encoding. The next is the last one is the safe unsafe characters. So these are the space, quotation marks, less than symbol. So these are also the special symbol, that is unsafe quotation marks, that is an unsafe character that is used, like the curly braces, pipe, backslash, caret, tilde. So there are multiple space or symbol that is used, with the unsafe character, that is used with the unsafe, that is known as unsafe characters. So there are four category. One is the ASCII characters, next is the non-ASCII character, next is the reserved character, next is the unsafe characters. The encoding notation replaces the desired character with three characters, that is a percent sign and the two hexadecimal digits. So there are that is used, or that is used for the replacing the desired side, that is used for the desired characters with the three characters that is used. One is a percent sign and two hexadecimal digits that correspond to the position of the characters in the ASCII character set. So whenever we are using the encoding character, that is used with the ASCII character sets. And one of the most common special characters is a white space. You cannot type a space in the URL directly, so there is no space that is going to this one. A space position in the character text is 20 hexadecimal, so this is used as a percentage 20. So this gives a gap, or this gives a space between the character, that is done by the percentage 20. In the same way, there are multiple ASCII character encoding that we have discussed in the last class. That is what are the various ASCII encoding characters. This is a table that is given about the decimal points, some of the hexadecimal values, their characters, they are the URL encoding. This includes the encoding for the character images or ranges, that is from 00 to 1f hexadecimal, that is from 0 to 31 decimal, and a 7f, that is a 127 decimals. So for example, if a decimal number have a 12, that means that have a range, or that have a character, that is a 0 C, and what sign is used, or what encoding is used, that is a percentage 0 C. In the same way, if the decimal is 13, So 0D is a sign, and this is the carriage return, that is a percentage OD. Then 14, that is the OE, that is the percentage OE. Then 15, then 16, and the 16 have a character that is a 10, and this is a percentage 10. Then 17 have a 11, that is a percentage 11. Then 12, percentage 12. Then 13, that is percentage 13. So these are the given value, decimal value, that is available within this one. And after 19, so first is from the 1 to the 19, that is from the 1 to the 19, that is given over here. This is from the 1 to the 19, 0 to the 19, 25. Then 26 have a 1A, that is a percentage 1A. In the same way 1B, 1C. So these are the various character encoding or ASCII encoding that is used with the 7F, because the maximum range is the 127, and this is 1F. And after this, again this is starting with the 2A, 2B, 2C till 2F. Then again 3D, 3, 4, 3, 5. Then 4A, 4B, 4C till 7, that is a 5A, 5C, and then 6A, 6C, and then 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D, 7E, 7F, that have a last value, that is a 127. So this is a sky range. So this have a totality of the 127 characters. So this is from the 0 to the 127, but they are total of the 128 character, not the 127. This is a range, but there are in totality there are 128 characters that is available within the sky character, or that is available with the sky characters. Now the next part is the non-ASCII control character encoding. That is, what is the known, or what are the various non-ASCII control character encoding? So the control ASCII characters are ranging from the 0 to 127. In totality, there are total 128 characters. And in the non-ASCII, that is beyond the 128 character, and that ranges from the beyond the 128, and the maximum value is the 255. So this includes the encoding for the entire top half of the ISO Latin set 80FFX, that is from the 128 to the 255 decimal. So this is the decimal, this is the hexadecimal value, this is the character, this is the URL encoding. So this is a 128, then this is the 80 value, then this is the character, this is the percentage 80. This is 129 decimal value, this has a hexadecimal value as a 81, then this is the character, that is a dot, and the URL encoding is the percentage 81. Then the 130, then 82, then comma, percentage 82, then 131, then 83, F, percentage 83. So these are the various decimal values, their hexadecimal values, their character, and their URL encoding. Next is the 132, and the hexadecimal value of 84. Then there is a double quotation mark, then the percentage 84. Then next is the decimal value, that is a 33. So this starting from the 128, because till 127 this is the same till 7F, and beyond that there is a decimal value, hexadecimal value, character, URL encoding. This is 133, 85, dot dot dot, percentage 85. Then 134, 86, this is symbol, that is the percentage 86. Then 135, 87, this is the percentage 87. In the same way, these are the various encoding, these are the various known as Kaika encoding, that is beyond the 127. Like this one, this is finished with the 9F. Then for the 160, this is starting with the A0. So first is the A0, then A1, A2, A3, and so on. Then this is the 165 that have a value A5. Then next is the 166 that have a value A6, A7, A8, A9, A, not A10. This is available with the A9. This is used for the copyright symbol. So if I want to insert a copyright symbol, we have to write the percentage A9. That is our decimal value, that is a 169. So this ranges from the 128 to the 255. In the same way, there is a 170 line that starts with the AA, AB, AC till AF. That is 175. And from 176, this is B0, B1, B2 till B9. This is 185. Again, it is going from the 186, that is a BA, BB, BC, BD, BE, BF till 191. This is the BF, and then from the 192, this is available as a C0, then C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, C6, C7, C8, C9. This is from till 201. Then 202, this is a CA, CB, CC, CD, CE, CEF, that is from till 207. And from 208, this is a D0, D1, D2 till D9, that is 217. Then from 218, this is the DA and DB till DF, that is the 223. Then 224, that is the E0, E1, E2 till E9, that is the 233. That is then from 334, that is the EA, EB, EC, ED, EF till EF, that is about 239. Then again it is going through the F0, F1, F2, F3. It is going till 249, that is F9. Then again it is going from 250 to 255, that is FA, FB, FC, FD, FE, and at last this is a FF. So when the characters are reaching at the FF, that is the last value, that is a 255 character or 255 digit, and this is known as sky character that ranges from the 0 to the 255. Now we are finished with the ASCII character, we are finished with the non-ASCII character. Now next is the result character encoding, that is what are the various result characters encoding that is used. The following is a table that is used to encode the result character that is used, and this is the result character encoding. This is a decimal part, then there is a hexadecimal value, then there is a char, then there is a URL encoding. This is a 36, then this is the hexadecimal value as a 24, then this is the character sign, then this is the URL encoding, that is the percentage 24. Then 38, that have a decimal value 38, then hexadecimal value have a 26, then character have a ampersand, then percentage 26. Then 43, then there is a 2b, then character have a plus, then percentage 2b. Then 44, that is a 2c, and that have a character comma, and then I have a percentage 2c. Then 47, so this is not that it is available from the range that is from 33, 36, 37, 30. No, this is a in between, that is a random that is available, that is a 36, 38, 43, 44, 47. And 47 have a value 2f, and this have a code that is a percentage 2f. Then this is a 58, this is a 126, that is a 7e. Then 91, that is a 5b. Then 93, that is a 5d. Then 96, that have a 60. Then 96, that have a 60, that is a percentage 60. Now the next chapter is the chapter number 38, that is the today's topic, that is the language ISO code. So that is what are the various language ISO code that is used within the HTML. So let's start with the today's session, that is the chapter number 38. So let's start with the chapter number 38, that is what are the various language ISO codes, that is what are the various code that is defined by the ISO, that is the International Standard Organization, and that is based on the languages. So there are multiple languages and that is used within the HTML. So what are their codes that is defined by the ISO, that is a language ISO codes. So following is the draft list of language code correspond between the ISO codes, Microsoft codes, and the Macintosh code. So there is a draft list of language code that is used that correspond between the ISO code, Microsoft code, and the Macintosh codes. And sources of this information is the Unicode Consortium. That is a Unicode Consortium that is used within the ISO code. So this is the these are the various language code that is defined by the ISO 639 Microsoft. This is defined by the ISO 639 Microsoft. First of all, there is the column that is a language, then there is ISO code, then there is a window name that is on which that window that code is worked, that is the window name, that there is a win code. The first language that is used is the Abkhazian, that is the ISO code is the AB, then FR, that is the ISO code is the AA, then African, then ISO code is the AF, then Albanian, that is the ISO code is the SQ, and window name is the lang, that is the language Albanian, then the window code is the 0 into 1 C, then next is the Amharic, that is the AM, then 0 into 5e, then there is a Arabic, then AR, that is a language Arabic, that is a 0 into 0 1, then Armenian, that is a AR, that is a language Arabic, then 0 into 0 1, then Armenian, that is a language Armenian. One is Arabic, one is Armenian, that is a HY, and that have a code and that have a language, and the window name is the lang Armenian. Then SMSC, that is a language SMSC, then 0 into 4D. So these are the various category of the A language, A character language, that is the language codes. Then next is the category of the B character, that start with the B character, like first one is the Bashkir, that have a code, that is a BA. Then next is a Baski, then that have a code, that is a EU. Then that have a window name, that is a lang Baski. Then code is a 0 into 2D. The next is a Bengali, then that is defined as a Bangla. Then that is a code has a BN, then language Bengali, then it's 0 into 45. Then Bhutani, then DZ, then Bihari, then BH, then Bislama, BI, then Breton, BR, then Bulgarian, that is a BG, and that have a code, that is a language Bulgarian, and that have a script code, that is a 0 into 0 2. The next is a Burmese, that have a code as a MY, that no constraint defined. Then next is the category code, that is a 0 into 55. Then next is the Belarusian, the language code has a Belarusian, then 0 into 23. Then next is the Cambodian, that have a value as a KM, then the code is a 0 into 53. Then Qatarian, that have a code, that is a CA, and that have a script window name is a language Qatarian, then 0 into 03. Then Cherokee, that have a code, that have a no constant defined, no window name defined, that have a code, that is a 0 into 5C. Then Chua, then next is a Chinese, this is important, that is a simplified Chinese, that have a code, that is a ZH, that have a language Chinese, sub-language Chinese simplified, that is a 0 into 04, 0 into 804. The next is a Chinese, that is a traditional, that have a code, that is a language Chinese, sub-language Chinese traditional, that our code has a 0 into 04. Then next is a Corsican, that our code, that is a CO. Then Croatian, that is the code HR. Then language Croatian, then 0 into 1A. Then Krech, then CS. Then this is the category that starts with a D, that is a Danish, that have a code, that have a name, that is a DA, and the server name, window name is a language Danish, and that have a code 0 into 06. Then Diveshi or Divehi, that have a language code or window name is a language Divehi, then 0 into 65. Then Dutch, that is HL or N1, then the language Dutch, then 0 into 13. Then EDO, that have a code, that is a 0 into 66. Then English, that is a code, that is a EN, and the language is the window name is the lang English, and then 0 into 09. That have a code of the English. Then Esperanto, then EO, then next code is a nothing. Then Estonian, then ET, then language Estonian, then 0 into 25. Then Felicia, then FO, language Furushi, then 0 into 38. Then Farsi, then FA, language Farsi, then 0 into 29. Then Finnish, FI, language Finnish, 0 into 0B. Then Finnish, then French, that is a FR, language French, then 0 into 0C. Then this starts with a G. So these are again the languages that start with the G. One is the Galician, that have a code GL, that have a language Galician, that have a code 0 into 56, that is 56. Then next is a Gaelic, that have a code, that is Scottish, that have a code GD, and this is a script code is a 0 into 3C, 0 into 43C. And then Jalic, that have a code Manix, then have a script, that is a code, that is a GV. Then next is the Georgian, so this is the KA, that is a language code as a Georgian, then 0 into 37. The next language is the most important language, that is a German, that have a code, that is a DE, that have a window name is a language German, then 0 into 07. And this is a Greek language, that have a code EL, and the language that is defined, that is a window that is defined is a lang Greek. Then this is a code, that is a 0 into 08. Then next is the Greenlandic, that have a code KL, that have a no window name. The next is the Gurani, that have a code GN, and there is no window name, no constant defined, that have a script code, that is a 0 into 74. Then Gujarati, that is also the language, that is the code has a GU, Then there is a language, that is a server name that is defined, that is a lang Gujarati, and then this is the code, that is a 0 into 47. So whenever we write the 0 into 47, the Gujarati language will arise. Then next is the Hosa, that is a language that have a code has a HA, and there is no constant defined for the server name, and that have a code that is a 0 into 68. Then there is a Hawaiian, there is no constant defined, there is no server name defined, and that have a code that is 0 into 75. Then next is the Hebrew, that have a code that is a HELW, that have a code language Hebrew, that have a code that is a 0 into 0 D. Now this is a Hindi, that is our Indian language, that is Hindi, that is HI. Then lang Hindi, if I want to use that one, that we have to use the server name, that is a lang Hindi, and that have a code that is a 0 into 39. Then next is the Hungarian, that is the next code, that is the next language that have a code that is a HU, that then the server name is the language Hungarian. Then next is a 0 into 0 E. Then Livio, that have no constant defined, that have a code 0 into 6 9. Now these are the various languages that start with the L. So we are finished with the A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. This is starting with the I, not the L. This is starting with the I, that is IBBO. Then this is the Icelandic is language defined is the Icelandic, and the code is a 0 into 0 F. Then the next language is the LGBO. Then Indonesia or Indonesian. So if I want to use a language Indonesian, that is used by using the ID IN star, then the language or the server name is a lang Indonesian, and the script code is a 0 into 21. The next is the interlingua, that is a code, that is a language, and the code script language or the short-term code that is used is the IA, and there is no server name that is defined, and there is no script code. In the same way, there is the interling, intuited, then incupic, then Irish, then Italian. If I want to use the Italian, that is ID, that have a language code that is Italian, then 0 into 10D. Let's start the session again. So the next is a category of the languages that starts with the I, that is the first language that is used is the IBBO, then Icelandic, then IGBO, then Indonesian, that is the next category, that is the Indonesian. Then next is the interlingua, that is the IA, then interlingui, that is the IE, then Incu or Inuktitut, that is the IU, that is the language is the Inuktitut. Then the code that is used is the 4144. This is the various code that is used, that is the script code that is used within this one, that is a MAC code. This is a MAC name. Then next is Irish, that is these are the various I characters. Now next is the Japanese, that is the JA, and the language that is used is the lang Japanese, and the script code or the MAC code is 11. Then next is the Javanese, then JV, then language is the Javanese ROM, then 138. The next is the Canada, that next is the code is the KN, and the next language is the language Canada, then 73. Then Kanuri, then there is no language that is used. Then Kashmiri, then KS, then language Kashmiri, then 61. Then Kechak, then KK, that is a language Kechak, then 48. Then next is the Kinyarwanda, that is RW, then language is the Kinyarwanda, then code is the 90. Then next is the Kirchik, then code is the KY, then language Kirchik, then MAC code that is available is the 54. Then Kirundi, that is the Rundi, then code is the RN, the language is the language Rundi. Then next is the 91 code that is used. Then next is the Konkani, that is start with the K. Then Kurdish, then next start with the L, that is a Laothian. There is a code that is LO, and the language that is used is the lang LO. Then the code or the MAC code that is available is the 79. The next is the Latin, that is the LA, and the language that is used is the language Latin, that is the lang Latin. Then the MAC code is the 137. Then Latvian, LV, language Latvian, and the code is 28. Then the Limberish, code is the LI. Then Lingala, that is code is the LN. Then Lithuanian, the code is the LT, and that of a language or the MAC script that is used the language Lithuanian, and the MAC code that is used as a 24. Now this is the category of the M, that is a Macedonian, that is MK, language Makodian, then 43, then Malagasy, then MG, then language Malagasy, that have a code 93, then Malay, that is MS, that is a language Malayali Roman, that is a Latin, Lang, or that is a language Malay Arabic, that is Arabic. This is the code that is given. Then next is the Malayalam, that have a code ML. This is the language, that is the language Malayalam. Then 72. Then Maltese, MT, language Maltese 16. Maori, then Marathi. This is the MR, and this is the language Marathi, and the code is 66. So these are the various languages of the M. Then start with the N, that is a Noryu, that is the NA code. Then Nepali, that is a code have a NE, and the language code, that is a Lang Nepali, and have a script code, that is a MAC code is a 64. Then Norwegian, that have a code language Norwegian, that have a value, that is a 9. Then Occitan, then Oriya, then Oromo, that is a F1, and the Galia, that have a code OM. Then Papai or Papiamentu, then Pashto, that have a code PS, then that have a value, that is a language Pashto, then Polish, that have a PL, then language Polish, that have a code 25, then Portuguese, then PT, language Portuguese, that have a code 8, then Punjabi, this is a PA, language is a language Punjabi, that have a code 70. So this starts, or the next level starts with the Q. So we are finished with the P, that is MNOP. Next is Q. Only one is language is available, that is Quechua, that have a code QU, that have a language, that is a Lang Quechua. Then that have a MAC code, that is a 132. And then this is a Ryotio, Romance, RM. Then Romanian, that is a RO, language Romanian, then that have a code 37. Then Russian, then RU, that have a code language Russian, that have a code 32. Then Semi, language Semi, that have a code 29. Then Semonian, that is our code SM. Then Sangro, Sanskrit, ESA, SR. So these are the various code that is used, or these are various language that is that start with the S. Then next is the Sanskrit, that is also the Indian language, that is the SA, that is the Lang Sanskrit. Then that have a code, that is a 65. Then Serbian, that is a code, that is a SR. Then the language code that is used is the Lang Serbian, that have a code 42. Then the Serbo-Catalonian, that is a SH, that have a code. Then Sesertio, that have a code ST. Then Sindhi, this is also the Indian language, that have a code SD, and the language that is used, or the code that is used is the language Sindhi, and that have a MAC code, that is a 62. Then Silesian, that have a code SI, that have a language Assyrian, that have a 66. Then these are the various category of the S. And the Spanish, that is the ES, that is the language Spanish, that is the Lang Spanish, that have a MAC code, that is a 6. Then Sudanese, that have a code SU, that have a language Sudanese Rome, that have a code MAC code 139. Then Swedish, SV, language Swedish, that have a code 5. Then next is the Tagalog, that have a code TL, that have a language, that is the language Tagalog, that have a code 82. Then Tajik, that is TG, that have a language Tajiki, that have a code 55. Then Tamajik. Then next is the Tamil, that start with the T, that is the TA, that language is the language Tamil, and the code is the MAC code is a 74. Then Tatar, that have a TT, then language Tatar, that 135. Then Telugu, that is also the Indian language, that have a code TE, that have a language, that is Lang Telugu, that have a MAC code 75. Then Thai, TH, language Thai 22. Then Tibetan, that have a code BO, then the language is the language Tibetan, that have a code 63. Then Tingrian, that have a code TI, then the language Tingrian, then 86. Then next is the Tonga, that is a TO, that have a code language Tongan, that have a code, that is a 147. Then next is the Tsonga, that have also the code, that have a TS, that have a no language, that is the no. Then Turkish, that have a code TR, that have a language Turkish, that is a 120 or 17. Then Turkmen, that have a TK, language Turkmen 56. Then TWI, TW. Then Uyghur, UG, language Uyghur 136. Then Ukrainian, UK, language Ukrainian 45. So this starts with the U. This starts with the V, that is the Venda, Vietnamese, that is the VI, language Vietnamese, that is the code 80. Then Welsh, this is CY, language Welsh 128. This is the Wolof, this is Y, this is Z. So these are the various codes that is starting with the W. So first is a code for the WOLOF, that is a Wolof language, that is a code that is defined as a WO, and there is no MAC code, there is no MAC code, there is no MAC language that is defined over here, and there is no MAC code. Then starting with the X, that is the XHOA, that is the XHOSHA, that have a XH, and there is no language, there is no code. Then YI, then there is a no language, there is no code. Then Yiddish, then YI star, then the language is the Yiddish, and there is no code, that is a 41, that is a MAC code, that is a 41. Then Yoruba, that have a code Bayo, there is no language specific, there is no MAC code specific. Then the Zulu, that is also the code, that have a value ZU, and there is no language defined over here, and there is no MAC code. So these are the various languages, these are the various language ISO code that is defined within the HTML, that is used within the HTML. Now the next chapter is the next chapter is 39, that is what are the various HTML characters encoding, or how to use the characters encoding. That is the next chapter. So this chapter I'm going to start within the next class, that is in the tomorrow's class, and tomorrow this chapter is also finished. Our next chapter is also finished, that is tomorrow we have finished the two chapters. We are going to finish the two chapters, that is the 39 and the 40, and we will going to start with the next module day after tomorrow, that is within the on the Friday, that is the research skills, that is the next semester module, that is the next module. All right, so tomorrow is the last class for the HTML. So that's all for today's session. We will meet tomorrow with the last class of HTML website design module, and in the after tomorrow we will be starting with the next module, that is the research skills. Thanks a lot everyone for listening me. Bye bye.